The Scribe, Part 2. The woman at the charity gala? Yasmin, Dr. Yasmin Blake, a philosophy professor with effortless grace and timeless beauty. Exactly my type. About 20 minutes into our reflections on Baldwin, my phone buzzes. A text from Melanie. "Can you come home? We need to talk." Every cheater's nightmare. Those 4 words? I tell myself it's nothing as I drive home. Probably something about the kids' schedules or some school event I missed last week. Melanie? She doesn't do confrontation. That's what I've always counted on. When I arrive, the house is too quiet. No kids, no TV, nothing. The silence has weight to it, like the moment before a curtain rises.
"Living room,"
Melanie calls. As I make my way down the dimly lit hallway, I notice she's in my leather chair. My chair, wine glass in hand, hair down, actually wearing makeup. And on our couch, looking entirely too comfortable, sits Wesley Thornton, my mentor, my publisher, the man who made me the Andrew Webb best-selling novelist. "Wes?" My voice cracks. "What's going on?" He barely acknowledges me. Something cold spreads through my chest. This isn't right. Wesley doesn't make house calls. Wesley doesn't sit on my couch drinking wine with my wife while I'm out.
"Have a seat, Andrew,"
Melanie says, too calm. That confuses me. I remain standing.
"Don't worry. The kids are at your mother's. I have a question for you. Do you remember our anniversary last year?"
I do remember, or rather, I remember the lie I told about it. Of course.
"You forgot. Came home at midnight. Said you'd been working with Wesley on editorial notes. You smelled like perfume. Something floral. Lovely scent, I must admit,"
she says, sipping her wine slowly, deliberately. My mind is racing through revisions, trying to reconstruct that night into something defensible.
"Wesley wasn't with you that night. Were you, Wes?"
No,
Wesley says calmly.
I was in London.
The room tilts.
I knew then. Not who. None of the details. But I knew you were lying. The hotel stays, the number of times you were MIA, the immediate showers when you got home. I was devastated. But then I realized something. I stayed because leaving was harder than enduring.
There's something in her voice that I've never heard before. Not anger. I could work with anger. This is clarity. Final draft clarity. Wesley shifts and I see it. How he looks at my wife. Protective. Familiar. Too familiar. Nah. No way. But even as I deny it, I'm cataloging the evidence I'd been too self-absorbed to see. Wesley's increased interest in our family, the way he'd started asking about Melanie specifically, the literary salon invitations that had seemed so casually extended.
So I started going to Wesley's literary salons. The ones you stopped attending because they were pretentious. At first, I just wanted to remember what it felt like to be Melanie again. Wesley actually listened, asked my opinions, didn't check his phone constantly or look over my shoulder for someone more important.
Each word lands like a punch. She glances at Wesley, and that look, I recognize it. Admiration, trust, the beginning of love, or maybe the middle of it.
We started having coffee, talking about feeling invisible in our own stories, about losing ourselves in service of other people's needs. Sound familiar?
The irony is acid in my throat. How long? I manage.
A year.
That hit me like a slap. A year, during Ebony, before and after. While I was carefully constructing my justifications, my wife was doing the same thing. And somehow, that feels wrong. Like she's plagiarized my story.
At first, I felt guilty, but then I'd watched how you moved, the pro, and I realized if you could compartmentalize, maybe I could too.
This is different. I start, but even as I say it, I know how hypocritical it sounds.
Is it? Tell me how your affair is different from mine. Because you were unhappy? Because I let myself go? Because I stopped being interesting?
I flinch. Those are my words, my exact words. Wesley speaks, and I hate how gentle his voice is.
Andrew, this isn't revenge. This is Melanie choosing herself.
I'm choosing someone who sees me,
Melanie adds.
who wants to build something with me, not just use me as a stable home base.
I want to argue, but what's terrifying is that I know she's right. The kids.
Will be absolutely fine. Better, actually. They'll have two honest parents instead of one present and one always looking for the exit.
I never wanted to leave.
You left years ago, Drew. You just kept sleeping here.
The truth sits heavy between us, and I realize with creeping horror that I have no counterargument. Every tool in my arsenal, the emotional manipulation, the careful framing, the strategic vulnerability, feels suddenly transparent.
I'm filing for divorce. My lawyer has all of the documentation. Credit card statements, hotel charges, flower deliveries. The private investigator was expensive, but worth it.
A private investigator. My wife hired a private investigator. The woman I thought was too exhausted, too checked out to notice my absences, had been methodically building a case.
And the deal is off.
Wesley says. What? My next book.
Melanie has been my friend for almost as long as you have, a genuine friend, and I can't, in good conscience, publish your next book. I'm sure you'll find another publisher, but I can't continue profiting from work created by someone who treated a woman I love with such casual cruelty.
A woman I love. The words echo in my head. Wesley loves my wife, my publisher, my mentor, the man whose approval I've sought after for 15 years loves my wife, and he's choosing her over me. You're together, I say numbly.
We're going to try. Once the divorce is final. We're not rushing. We want to do this right. Make us right.
I made mistakes.
Strategic, right?
She interrupts, and there's a sharp smile now.
Manipulative. Calculating. Using all the tools at my disposal to write a narrative where I come out on top.
She's quoting me. She's using my own words, my own philosophy against me, and the symmetry of it would be beautiful if it weren't destroying my life. She stands, walks to the mantel, and picks up an envelope I hadn't noticed.
There's one last thing.
Melanie says, her voice shifting to something almost amused.
About Ebony.
My blood goes cold. What about her?
Ebony Rhodes. Finance executive. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the river. Makes complicated dishes with saffron.
Melanie's smile widens.
My college roommate.
The world stops. Actually stops. I can hear my own heartbeat, feel the blood draining from my face. What?
We lived together junior and senior year at Cornell. Lost touch after graduation. Reconnected on social media about 2 years ago. She mentioned she'd met this handsome novelist at a gallery opening. Showed me his photo. Imagine my surprise.
I can't breathe. Every moment with Ebony is replaying in my mind. Every confession, every vulnerability, every carefully crafted manipulation, all of it observed, reported, and analyzed.
At first, I was going to confront you immediately, but Ebony had a better idea. She said, "Let's see how deep this goes. Let me be your eyes and ears." So we collaborated. Every date, every lie you told her, every justification about your terrible, boring wife and life, she reported back to me.
I'm gonna be sick. Actually physically sick. The woman I thought I was seducing, the woman I believed I'd captivated with my wit and insight, had been playing me from the start.
The texts you thought you deleted? Ebony forwarded them to me. The hotel receipts? She photographed them. Every piece of evidence came gift wrapped from the woman you thought you were manipulating.
That's impossible, I whisper, even though I know it's not. She fell for me. She ended things because she wanted something real.
She ended things because we had enough evidence. Months of documentation, watching you perform the same tired script you probably used on all the women before me.
She opens the envelope, pulls out photographs.
Here's you and Ebony at her apartment. Here's the hotel in Midtown. Here's the florist receipt for roses you never sent me.
Each photo is a monument to my own stupidity. I thought I was being careful. I thought I was clever.
The therapy she started? That wasn't real. That was the exit strategy. We needed you to think she was having doubts organically, that she was choosing to leave you.
But why? Why would she do that?
Because she remembered what you did to me, watched me slowly shrink in college, always a little less bright around you, always performing for your approval. She never liked you, Drew, even back then.
So this whole thing, Wesley, the affair,
Oh no, that's very real.
Melanie says, glancing at Wesley with genuine warmth.
That started exactly when I said it did. But Ebony gave me the courage to stop waiting for you to change. She showed me you were following the same pattern you always have.
Melanie hands me the envelope.
It's all in here. Everything you'll need to understand how thoroughly you've been outdone. Every word you wrote thinking you were the author of this story. We were the editors all along.
She starts toward the door, Wesley following, but stopped suddenly, leaned over and whispered, as calmly as ever, in my ear.
Checkmate.
I sit there, envelope in hand, as the lock clicks behind them. The house is silent again, but now the silence feels permanent. Final. My phone buzzes. Yasmin. Would love to continue our Baldwin discussion over lunch. How's your schedule looking this week? I stare at the message, then at the envelope of evidence, then back at my phone. For the first time in my life, I have no words. No narrative to construct, no story to tell myself that makes this bearable. Just the hollow understanding that I've been a character in someone else's plot all along.